Hi everybody, this is Mr. Karlowski with a quick tutorial on how to solve a quadratic equation using your Nspire. So as you can see here, I have an equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 equals 0. A quadratic equation already in standard form and solved to equal 0. Now I'm going to show you four methods. The first method a lot of people like is the quadratic formula. Why do people like this? Because it always works. Even if it is a little bit sloppy in the work, it always works. I'm not going to write it down. I'm just going to set it up here for you. So if you recall, x equals opposite b, which would be 8 plus or minus the square root of b, negative 8 squared, minus 4. A is 1, c is 15, and all over 2 times a. It's always important to write down the work on your paper before you go to your calculator. So there I have my solution, and now I'm going to go to my calculator and type it in. Now I always like to type it in exactly as I have it written on my paper. So you start with that stacked fraction in the Nspire, and here I go. Well, the first problem is I cannot type in plus or minus. The calculator only does one operation at a time. So I'm going to do plus first and then the square root of, and I write it. I type it exactly as I wrote it. Negative 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 15 all over 2 times 1. And as long as I typed it in correctly and press enter, I get my first solution of x equals 5. And now what about for the 8 minus? Well, I can just go arrow up, highlight what I entered in before, press enter, it pastes it down, and then quickly arrow left until I can delete the plus and type in a minus, and I would get my second solution. So again, I wrote it down on paper, but I had to type it in very carefully into my Nspire, and I get my solutions are x equals 5 or 3. So again, we already know the answers, but we're talking about different methods. Now, because those answers are so nice, the second method, which maybe some people do first, is they try to solve by factoring. And unfortunately, factoring doesn't always work, but if it can, it's definitely an easy method. If you recall, for a simple quadratic like this, you would ask yourself what multiplies to 15 and what adds to negative 8. And you think, oh, I know that's negative 5 and negative 3. But those are not the solutions. Those are just how we then build the factoring of this quadratic to be x minus 5 times x minus 3. And then using the zero product property, if these two quantities multiply to 0, that must mean that either of the two factors must equal 0. So x equals 5 or 3. Again, same solution. The solution is not changing, but just how we get there. So again, factoring is a great method if it is easily factorable and one that you're comfortable doing. The third method is by graphing. And of course, this is where we definitely need the calculator. By graphing, I would look for the x-intercepts. Why am I looking for the x-intercepts? Because those are where the function equals 0. So look for the x-intercepts. So now I'm going to go to my calculator and go to a graphs page. And so I'm going to graph my expression or function x squared minus 8x plus 15. And hopefully I have a good window. Yes, I do. I want to see those x-intercepts. And there they are now. Again, because the numbers are nice, they're clearly 3 and 5. But let's say I didn't know what they were, or they were uglier numbers. I would go to Menu, Analyze Graph, and look for these zeros. And since that is the location, I click left of it and right of it, and there's one solution of 3. And do it again. Look for the 0, left of it, right of it, and if you can't read them, move them around. My two solutions again are 3 and 5. So again, that method was to graph it, and just a quick sketch here, and I get my two x-intercepts if there are any, and so I get x equals 3 or 5. And the fourth method I will acknowledge is that if you have the Nspire CAS, why did we do all this work when we could just do the solve command? And yes, there is a time and a place for solve command. It's not every problem, but maybe you know how to do it. It's a very simple command. You literally just type solve. Write in the equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 equals 0. And then the syntax of the calculator is you have to do comma x. And that's what you would type in. And just to show you real quick how to do that, again, solve, you can either type in the word or go to algebra, solve, type in the equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 equals 0. Remember, you're typing in an equation, comma, x, and there you go. X equals 3 or 5. Of course, that's our least favorite method, but just in case, where time is of the essence, that is a nice shortcut. So there was a quick recap of how to solve a quadratic. You could use these skills to solve lots of different equations. Doesn't have to just be quadratic. In fact, I didn't even show you the factor command. I probably should have shown you that. If it's a hard one to factor, you could use that in the calculator as well. So just a quick recap, and good luck. See you in class.